Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
I'm Andre Gower.
And I'm Ryan Lambert.
And you're listening to
Real Nerds Podcast. Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2019 and beyond. I am a host, Brad.
And I'm Zach. And I got a quick question for you, really quick. Does it feel weird saying Pop Culture Con instead of Denver Comic Con after so many years?
It does, and I don't, they could have easily just done Denver Pop Con.
Denver Pop Con?
We would have understood.
But
it flows off the tongue better.
You never know. They might have thought it was a soda convention, and then... Which would be awesome, by the way.
I mean, at some point, I'm sure soda will be incorporated into the convention, because that's pop culture, man.
I just can't wait to get a Slurm can, man.
There should be Slurm cans there.
Yeah, you know, it's just Mountain Dew, but still. So it's Mountain Dew, but it's like extra like creamy somehow, so it like feels like the slime you drink. And then I can get a warm can and be like, it's even better warm.
They can have Ecto Cooler there.
Ooh,
like all the nerd drinks.
That's the one.
They should have Pepsi Free for Back to the Future.
Yeah, Pepsi Free. You should have a guy there with the Pepsi Free, be like, if you order Pepsi, you got to pay for it,
buddy. And no
just
one
kidding.
Ever
Here
gets
you
Pepsi.
go.
It's actually a line in front of the coffee machine, so you should get coffee instead.
Love it, Brad. What do we do on the show?
Every week we go see a new movie and we podcast that experience to the world. This week we saw First Man.
We chose to see the moon.
Or First Man.
Yeah, First Man.
The superhero who's always first.
Yes, exactly.
Or always posts on the comment threads first.
Yeah, okay.
First Man.
First.
Ryan Gosling. Just on a laptop.
Yeah.
First.
No, wait. It's a phone. It's just making a phone. I know it seems a little too... Because he can't just bring out a whole DOS computer onto the moon.
He covers all the bases. Phone, laptop, tablet.
Kindle.
Desktop, Kindle. Just always first.
Oh, let's get Damien Chazelle on the phone for First Man 2. I actually had a better idea for that. First Man 2, Revenge of the Moon. And the moon's big tagline for the trailer is, you stepped on me, now I step on you.
Well, anyway, so we'll review that at the end of the show. And then we'll give our 2 cents real quick on if you should see it or not. And then we'll play the trailer, and then we'll go into spoiler territory. Although I don't know how much spoilers we can do for an historical event. But, you know, there's some good tonal stuff that I don't want to, like...
Well, you forgot about that moment where it cuts to black and you don't know if they land on the moon, so, you know.
Yeah, and there's that one part where they drop the lem, and then there's General Zod and standing there ready to...
But it's okay. Gosling threw him back into the little square, and they went, ah!
And that scene also has the American flag in it. Just saying.
We'll talk about the movie and how that all the controversies on this seemed a little ridiculous. So, but
yep, absolutely. Until then, let's go around town with Brad. Brad.
Hey, film buddies! Follow me around Denver.
This week at the drive-in.
You should have said thank you, Brad.
I should have, but Brad doesn't say thank you or goodbye.
That is true.
This week at the drive-in is The House with a Clock on Its Walls, followed by Venom and Predator. If they're open, the snow is closing them down.
Well, today's obviously closed down, but the rest of the week looks pretty sunny, so maybe you'll be able to get.
Well, they were closed last Thursday too, and it wasn't as snowy. So it just make sure you check the website 88drivein.net and stay up to date because they only know the day of whether they'll be open or not. So
it always feels weird that I only get to I don't have a car, so I only get there like once or twice a year, and I only got to go once this year, and it was for Tomb Raider, and I was just like,
oh man,
this is terrible.
We should go for Venom and Predator.
Yeah, I want to see House on the Clock with the Clock on the Walls too. So like maybe we can go for all those and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't want to see Jack Black kill pumpkins with Kate Blanchett? I kind of do.
Maybe if it was a different movie, it didn't have like CGI.
You just don't like and stuff. You just don't like Eli Roth. It's fine. Whatever. He's good.
He's good in Inglourious Bastards.
All right. Anyway.
So yeah. And I think they're trying to make it to Halloween because they want to show the original Halloween at the drive-in. But if the weather ruins their business in the next 3 weeks, that might not be possible.
Esquire did the Midnights last night.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Esquire, what is playing at the Esquire?
Many movies.
Dead Air.
Esquire, plays old cult classics at midnight.
They don't show
each week. It's probably The Room and Rocky Horror because it's like halfway through the month.
I think they do that at the end of the month, though.
Sometimes they do it. They double up. And like, yeah, I was right. It's The Room and Pitch Black. So it's Pitch Black is October 19th and 20th.
Mm-hmm.
But also on Friday, the 19th, they're showing The Room, so it'll probably be the upstairs screen. And then the following weekend, October 25th and 27th, and then on Halloween, they're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So 3 nights that last week of October.
Cool.
And then since it's the last thing on this page, November 2nd and 3rd is the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park. Well, that was a summer movie, but it's just they're showing it because it's the 25th anniversary.
That's when they could get it in.
So nothing to do with November. It's just, yeah.
I got to see Jurassic Park on a 35mm print before they switched over, and that thing broke halfway through the presentation. So the whole last patient was like, well, the dinosaur's going to eat them? I don't know.
The dinosaurs are too big to fit the frame, so it broke the film.
Yeah. It would have been funny if it broke on Wayne Knight's face, and I'd be like, Wayne Knight, he's able to break film with the power of his presence.
Be like, the film's breaking. See nobody cares. So yeah, that's and then on Thursday of this week is the Emerging Filmmakers Project, and it's October, so it's a program full of scary shorts from the local community. So check that out.
Right on.
And then of course, Cannibal the Musical is still playing Fridays and Saturdays at the Bug. Next weekend, I got confused. I went last night expecting them to show the movie, and last night was just a sing along to the play. So next week is the movie.
Okay.
Midnight screening at the Bug Theater after the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you haven't seen Trey Parker and Matt Stone's debut feature, go check that out.
Yeah.
Did they ever talk about how they feel about that film? I've never seen a DVD release of it. I've always just seen it on Netflix.
I've got it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's like a 15th anniversary edition.
They have like a commentary and stuff. And
I don't think I've taken the time to actually watch that part of it, so I've got it. So I was inspired last night to watch it. So
there you go.
I got home at 3 a.m., so I haven't had time to crack into it. So
the extensive universe of Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah, you could build a universe out of that.
Cannibal Cinematic Universe.
There's a lot of shit going on in the Colorado territory that you can make stories out of.
That's true. There's a lot. Stoned Cannibal the Musical.
Mormons and Native Americans and Canadians. All
puppets
traveling, crossing paths. Yes,
cool. Well, that's awesome,
and that's what's going on around town. Yeah. Now let's find out what's going on in the news.
It's real news.
Well, well, the biggest news that's arrived, James Gunn's in talks to write and possibly direct Suicide Squad 2.
I'm down.
Yeah.
If that guy can make a crazy movie, he's the one.
I mean, my only frustration is the thing that unfortunately won't be rectified, which is I want Guardians 3 from him, not Suicide Squad 2 from him.
Yep.
I know obviously that's like, it's like yelling at a wall at this point because Disney's not going to change their mind, and I'm sure Gunn's probably upset enough that he wouldn't want to come back now at this point, even if they wanted him back.
I don't know. I think he loves that property enough that he might. I mean, he'd probably need a huge payday.
Right. Oh yeah, there would be
to alleviate that, but
there'd be a huge negotiation on that.
But I can also see him just doing it because he's like, it just means so much to him.
It's interesting though to think if he does Suicide Squad 2, he gets a little more room to be his older self, which is obviously what was in contention a few months ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the movie Super. I think the movie Super is an amazingly awkward flick that everyone should check out. Like it's awkward for like mainly the Ellen Page character because she's just all kinds of crazy. But then also obviously Slither and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see him kind of like inch a little bit more closer to dark territory, but given what DC's been focused on in its own way, I don't know how that all ties into their plans. Because, like,
I think they made it clear they're not trying to do the, like, everything ties together universe type thing. They're just like, we've got stories to tell.
Yeah.
If they show up in other movies, great. If they don't, we don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously. And then Matt Reeves is doing his Batman flick, and, I mean, Affleck's in rehab right now, so I don't know if... I think that I don't know. I would like to see Affleck remain, but I think that ship might have already sailed, which sucks. But, I mean, hey, it means Ben Affleck can do some more flicks, like, on his own, writing and directing, which is great, because he's a great director. Sorry, it's going slow. There might be some dead air. I'm sorry. We got some trailers. We got trailers for Aladdin, the live-action remake, which looked like it was all made in the computer, which is okay, I guess.
Really a teaser. There's not, obviously that's not a story. Those Disney remakes aren't something you'll spoil. Like, you're basically going to see like how close are they getting it to the one they made before.
I was really, really hoping you wouldn't make a tasteless joke about Robin Williams as a spoiler.
No, can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, good. Thank you for holding yourself.
But it's like, that's what we're looking for is how different is this going to be? Like, how much are you going to deviate? How much is going to stay the same? And the trailer is just like, cool, there's the lamp.
Yeah. I mean, it
looks all photorealistic.
Yeah. The only thing they established that I thought was, I get why they're doing it, but it was one of those things that kind of like, I rarely get angry at these things, and I wasn't even angry at this, but I was like, sad. I was like, oh, the mouth of the cave isn't going to talk like an animated mouth. It's just going to stand there. And I'm like, I get it, but go.
Then again, Disney kind of makes trailers that don't show what's actually in the movie. Sometimes it's illustrated by the Avengers, so it may still be in the movie. They're just not showing it to you right now.
Yeah, and it might just be like open for the sake of them walking inside. You never know.
Yeah.
Again, like Aladdin has the weird point in my life of being the first movie my folks ever took me to see, and I ran out of the theater screaming. So, it'll be interesting to see if I run out of this one screaming.
Yeah, I was like tired of all the the teaser drops of like, here's something that says it exists. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, like I'm hungry for the one that explains, like doesn't show the whole plot, but it's gives me something more to like
to munch on,
get excited about
mentally. Yeah. Well, I mean, we also got a trailer for Glass, a second trailer. So obviously we're getting closer to that. This one made me more excited. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just the stuff in the air.
Didn't seem that different to me.
Well, there's obviously different shots and stuff, like just different angles, but I don't know why, but for some reason now I'm really excited to see Glass. I'm going to definitely have to go back and rewatch Unbreakable and Split. And I mean, I love Split for James McAvoy, but I don't really care about the rest of the film, including the teaser that leads into Glass, because
that's where I got excited.
I know. I mean, there's that moment of like, and then I'm like, oh, okay. It took a while, but okay, sure, why not? I just hope Bruce Willis cares this time. But I mean, like I said, and also I like Samuel L. Jackson with that character. I think that's the main reason I'm super amped for it. We got a little bit more of him with it, but also his mother in the whole proceedings, which I was like, that's pretty cool. I can't remember if it's the same actress. It doesn't seem like it is, but we'll see. Could have put her in old age makeup. You never know.
Maybe.
But we also got a trailer for something else that was amazing somehow. For Netflix's The Christmas Chronicles, which features Kurt Russell playing Santa Claus, and it's basically just Jack Burton as Santa Claus, and it's pretty awesome. And I want it.
Okay.
I want a physical copy of it. Give it to my nephew and be like, here, this is real Santa Claus, none of that Tim Allen bullshit. Watch Kurt Russell be Santa Claus, because his beard is perfect for Santa Claus. We also got news from Marvel that Ryan Coogler is going to direct and write Black Panther 2. So cool beans. And also on the Marvel front, Iron Fist has been canceled by Netflix, which I didn't see Iron Fist. The only Netflix show I've seen is Daredevil, so I don't know how they're doing over there, really. But I guess that's a shame. And then the final thing in Marvel news is Black Panther. They're widening the field on what Disney wants Black Panther to receive the awards attention, so they're only rooting for one category nomination for Avengers: Infinity War, and Black Panther's their main focus for awards season, which is something that they haven't really created campaigns for really in the past. Like they haven't really like gone toward that, So,
well, it'd be nice if everyone could just focus on the art and not worry about, strategies on how to win awards.
Well, I mean, that's more Disney's business end, and for that matter, Marvel's business end handling that. But obviously, Avengers: Infinity War's consideration category is visual effects, which those visual effects are pretty amazing. We also saw some visual effects today, though, for this movie that are pretty cool. So, who knows what'll win that award? The words Spielbergian and Tarantino-esque have been added to the Oxford Dictionary, so that feels weird.
Yeah, all words are made up.
I guess that's true. I want the term Hague-like to be added to the dictionary in 40 years. So
I'll make sure you PS all your Instagram posts and Facebook posts with Hague-esque, and then it'll become popular enough. And there's a certain quota of how many people use it.
Your definition in the dictionary is just a picture of you looking bright-eyed into the stars. Oh, my God. Mr. Mom is going to become a TV show from MGM and Vudu. I just want Michael Keaton to play it again somehow. I know he's too old, but I don't care. I want him to do it. Some Jean-Claude related news, kind of. Universal Soldier is going to be rebooted from the screenwriters of The Equalizer. I've never seen Universal Soldier. Do you like it at all?
It's all right.
It's like not like anything that you'd like clamor for as terms of like a reboot.
Yeah, the story is not that interesting. I mean, I don't have a specific example, but it's just they make these soldiers that are easily controllable. One goes rogue, and they send another one.
Is Jean-Claude the one that goes rogue?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I.
And then he has to deal with like, what does it mean to be alive? In less like cerebral terms in that movie.
A robot movie comes to terms with what it's like to be alive. Shocker.
Or how to be an individual.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, again, shocker.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more. It's not as actiony as you'd think.
Mm.
I mean, it's actiony when it's actiony, but it's not like this. It's not like a Michael Bay spectacle.
Right.
It's a little more cerebral like this movie.
Okay. I always confused it with the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell, which is a Paul W.S. Anderson movie, and it just features a silent film performance from Kurt Russell. He doesn't say much in that movie because he's not. They're bred not to really speak, but to fight like men.
I guess it's like if the Terminator lost, its program mission was lost, so it was stuck wandering around like what to do, while also trying to be recaptured, and then it's up to the humans to keep them isolated.
I love the idea of the Terminator wandering around, hasn't found his clothes yet, going, "Who am I?"
I think that's a part in the Universal Soldier, actually.
Can you help me find my purpose?
I think, he shows up nude at the motel room of the female co-star
Yeah.
before they go on their little adventure.
Are you my wife? We make love?
I might try to recut Universal Soldier with Terminator dialogue. Are you Sarah Connor?
This is the second to last piece of news. But Annapurna, Megan Ellison's company, is reevaluating its film division. Long story short, they got rid of one of their executives, or one of their executives left. After they were going to be going ahead on two other films. One was going to be a Jennifer Lopez movie, and the other one was, doesn't say here, but it seems as if though they're like in financial trouble from the way the article is written, because I mean Annapurna, like, unless it's like latched on to another studio that has wider distribution, has had a hard time making their budget back on their feature film projects. It seems like, if anything, their TV division might be doing better, but I don't know the full story. That they've only revealed that one of their executives left and that two of their properties went out into the wind, and STX picked up the Jennifer Lopez one. So it's like a movie about a stripper who does something. I don't know. But anyway,
that's worth picking up then.
Yeah, no, I mean, the question is like, what does that mean for Annapurna? Because like, I love the theory behind Annapurna's mission, which is just to make those unique and different movies. But it seems like A24 is doing a better job at what their initial mission statement is. And Annapurna has more or less been like the place to go when no one else can get, when you can't get the money anywhere else. Like, that's how The Master gets made, or like they were trying to in that book, The Big Picture, they talk about like they tried to get them interested in the Steve Jobs movie, and then that fell through, and then it ends up at Universal under different auspices. So but yeah, I hope that doesn't fail, because I like Annapurna's output on its own or with a studio. Like, I thought Detroit was really good. So,
but it sounds like they're not getting it done, so if they don't have money to give any of those special projects, what can you do?
No, yeah, again, like I'm not unrealistic on it.
Get someone else in there to
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
business.
we'll have more on the story. I mean, I want to go more into detail, but my computer is like not giving me like the time of day right now. It's barely pulling stuff up. The last piece of news, though, there's a Star Wars TV show coming out called The Mandalorian, which Jon Favreau is going to work on. There's a spotty rumor, and I know it's casting rumor, and it's not necessarily news yet, but Werner Herzog's name has been bandied about being in that show. I don't know who he's playing. I don't care who he's playing. I want Werner Herzog in Star Wars. I want that crazy German son of a bitch in a Star Wars. I don't care what he does. I want to hear his voice talk about like force shit, intergalactic treaties, like being a gangster for Jabba the Hutt. Like, Jabba, listen to me. Like I want that. I want that. I don't know what it sounds like yet. I imagine it's like a cross between science fiction and his character from Jack Reacher, and maybe that's fine for me. Or he could be narrating it, and that'd be awesome too.
This is why no one's gonna ever trust you to be a producer on their movie.
You just lack the vision that I and Jon Favreau share, apparently.
So that's news?
Yep, that's news.
All right, let's find out what DVDs and Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays and VHSs and all that coming out this week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
This week, we got a 4K of The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bowling ball set.
Yeah, it looks okay, I guess. I kind of wish they'd stop milking that shit. Give the release, that's fine, but I don't need a gift set.
I think they did this gift set with the Blu-ray one. Cause
it sounds like they already have, but now they're just doing it for the 4K.
Yeah, so it's a little bowling bag with a bowling ball. I think it's to scale.
Yeah,
no, the bowling ball is like as big as the DVD, which the DVD's cover is a little sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cute.
Yeah, it's fine.
Shit.
I'm loaded up. we're also getting Ant-Man and the Wasp on 4K, Blu-ray, and Best Buy Steelbook and Target exclusive. So I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I'm pretty steady with those Steelbooks, so I'll probably go ahead and grab it. Trilogy of Terror is getting a release, which is a Karen Black anthology horror film. There's a really interesting story in that film involving a voodoo doll, or like I can't remember what. It's a doll. It's a killer doll thing, but it's pretty freaky. Arrow's putting out 12 Monkeys, the Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, Madeline Stowe film from Terry Gilliam. City Slickers is getting a Shout Factory release. I heard they cleaned that thing up, so it's apparently supposed to look pretty good. Olive Films is putting out Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956. I have that on the way. Although I think I'm probably going to get it late because they told me it was out of stock, and now they told me it's in stock, so I think they're just not sure of what they want out of life anymore. Arrow's also putting out Schlock, which is an early John Landis film that has early stuff from Rick Baker. So if you want to find out where Rick Baker gets his beginnings outside of the It's Alive movie, check that out. Criterion's putting out Shampoo, which is a Hal Ashby film with Warren Beatty, and it's about the guy. It's about a hairdresser named Jay Sebring who was one of the Manson victims. But it's about like kind of his life and how he inspired people, and then maybe I've never seen it, but as far as I know, that's like what the plot is. So, but it's interesting to note that it's about a guy who was killed by Manson, or Manson's followers. I don't know. He's a murderer. Fuck him. Also, from this year, Unfriended Dark Web is getting a Blu-ray release. Doesn't look like a 4K at all, though. So, I didn't see it. I don't really have much interest in it. It's Pat the Movie is coming out from Kino Lorber. So yeah, is it a man or is it a woman? Is there a care in the world? I don't think so. And it looks like they're re-releasing, reissuing some Universal stuff, so like Mallrats, American Tail, Double Indemnity, Weird Science, Liar, Liar. They're all getting a revival of sorts or reissue. And then yeah, looks like that's Blu-rays. Oh, wait, one more. There is a new cover for Die Hard that looks like a Christmas sweater, and it looks adorable. And it's green, and then the center of it is Nakatomi Plaza, and then the Rorschachian kind of like side to side is helicopters, and then at the bottom it says ho ho ho. So yeah, maybe I don't have Die Hard on Blu-ray yet. Maybe I should get it that way because I don't really care about having the sequels right now.
Also, there's a collected edition of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Season 1 through 3.
Yeah, the series, yeah. With the bobblehead.
Bruce Campbell looks like Quagmire for some reason.
Giggity.
I wish they'd done some of the art for, or done a steelbook. That's kind of a bummer. Because I passed on all those steelbooks waiting for this collection. So.
But you get a bobblehead.
No. And Monty Python's Meaning of Life has a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's probably a re-release thing.
Yeah, it's a re-release. It's been on Blu-ray before. Call me when they get that... all three of them together in a package again, because they did that for DVD and it was awesome and I loved it. Also, Danny McBride's new film Arizona is coming to Blu-ray. I thought that was just a Netflix thing. So is Netflix doing Blu-rays of their movies now?
They've done Blu-rays of their shows, so
I know that, but I thought they were trying to keep their movies to the service only. So, oh well, cool. That's Blu-rays, son.
I guess we'll talk about what we've been watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Zach, what have you been watching?
Not a whole lot. In preparation for this week's film, I watched Apollo 13 again. Movie still rocks. It's awesome. I watched it like 2 times. So I watched it the first time just on its own, and then I watched it with a commentary, and it was interesting hearing Ron Howard talk about it. And we'll talk about it a little bit later in the review, but it's interesting how that film, like all NASA films, like there's one subject that always comes up, and it's interesting how that subject always keeps coming up within the context of like any space mission of any kind. So, but I liked it, and I liked watching Ed Harris do his thing as the director of Flight Control. So yeah, it's right on. I also rewatched Frost Nixon, which was my number 2 from the 2008 film Explosion. The movie still holds up for me. It's really good. I've read that there's apparently some backlash years later about that flick, which I don't understand because it's a really solid film about that interview, even though obviously it is like super dramatized and exaggerated on the importance of that interview. It's still pretty solid, and I think Michael Sheen's still terrific in the film, and obviously Langella's great. I rewatched A Trip to the Moon, the Georges Méliès film, because I got the Blu-ray from Flickr Alley of there was a restored print of the original 15-minute of the shorter Trip to the Moon with its original hand-painted colors that was done in France and shown at Cannes in 2011 around the same time as Hugo was going to be coming out. So I watched it, and it looks beautiful on Blu-ray. And it's interesting to see it along with the soundtrack for the film that they got from a French like new wave-ish band or something like that. Because it's obviously there's no score for the original Trip to the Moon because it's a silent film from the 1900s. So, but yeah, I mean, the more amazing thing about it is that there's a documentary about how they got that film restored. Like apparently that film was like basically with the nitrate print, it goes into emulsion and like becomes sticky. And then it's like just unusable. Like you can't do anything with it. But the technology, I didn't realize, has apparently gone up in such a way that they can actually restore a lot of those ones if they're in a certain condition where you basically have to peel it one at a time after it's been like sitting in a certain liquid, and then you photograph it from there. And then then from there they go ahead and recreate it using the digital tools that they have. But the documentary is fascinating. It is narrated in English, but there's also interviews with French filmmakers. So if you can't stand subtitles, you might not be into it. But I think if you're into film history and any kind of filmmaking, this is definitely worth your time. It's only like $15-$16 on Amazon from Flickr Alley. So I rewatched The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded, and I'm probably gonna watch Revolutions tonight. I mean, I love the first Matrix a lot. I mean, when we do 99 Film Explosion, that's probably going to be my number one film for that year. Despite like, obviously there's other great films from that year, but I just love The Matrix a lot. Like, I loved it when I was in middle school. And rewatching it this week, I really still do love it. I still don't understand why his monitor is off during that scene, because it seems like he should be working. But I mean, his world's about to be unplugged anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of the Matrix. But yeah, the visual, like the Blu-ray holds up really well, like because those scenes when they're out in the real world in the Nebuchadnezzar ship, like they're all shot in really dark lit areas, and like they isolate that stuff. Like so, the visual effects do hold up in that respect. Bullet Time. For the first time, I realized it holds up, but it's definitely the most standoutish thing about that film. Like it's like because it does look like cartoonish to a degree, but it still looks groundbreaking. Like it, obviously, it's like the difference between a year before that, 98, and everything afterward. I can't say that for The Matrix Reloaded. Its visual effects stick out like a sore thumb. That Burly Brawl scene with Agent Smith looked so awesome in theaters when I saw it in 2003, and now it just looks like a flat-out video game to me. So Blu-ray doesn't do the best job of helping that. And I tried to like think in my head, I'm like, just convince yourself that this is another trick of the Matrix, where they're just turning into cartoons for no reason because they can bend reality. It's all safe, Zach. You're fine. This movie's still good. Because like I like the sequels, because I like the fact that they're attempting to be challenging and often succeed and sometimes fail. The thing I like about that film is the thing that people tend to like poke holes in, which is the architect scene, because I like the idea of like, oh, he did the hero's journey and then it turned out to be pointless. So that's pretty fun for a big budget blockbuster movie to like throw things in people's faces. I always like it when people do that. I'll rewatch Revolutions this week and tell you what I think next week. And then I'm trying to think if I watched anything else. I don't think so. Yeah, no, I didn't watch anything else this week. That's all I watched.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There are two things. I continued my Universal Monster binge, and I watched The Mummy's Hand from 1940. It's when the only good mummy movie in the Mummy universe is that first Mummy. After that, they all turn to crap. as evidenced by the fact that this movie is only an hour and 6 minutes. It's basically about like, a mummy is protecting a tomb of a princess. He has to have tana leaves injected into him in order to walk around at night and avenge people who are trying to rob his grave. And it's all kinds of silly. It's quickly made, you can tell. And then the other one I saw was The Invisible Woman from the same year, which is basically it's about a scientist who's being funded by a playboy billionaire for his experiments, and his experiment is obviously to make someone invisible. But the only person who answers the ad to be invisible is a woman, and it like throws him off because he's like, oh, a woman, oh, well, I can't do it. I'll be uncomfortable if I'm, like asking a woman to strip down in front of my machine, and like, but it's whatever. She gets invisible, and then she goes and wreaks havoc and seeks revenge on her employers who treat her like a piece of meat, and then the classist people who throw shit in her face. And then the rest of the film is about trying to prevent gangsters from Mexico from stealing the machine so that their boss could turn invisible and return to America. It's pretty nuts. Obviously very tone deaf in terms of women's rights and in terms of what we consider feminism and not feminism, but it's funny. It's a fun little time. And John Barrymore, this is one of the last films he ever did. At this point, he was a drunk who couldn't remember his lines, so they had to have him read his lines pasted on objects around the set. So you can tell that he's just kind of this is a traditional Shakespearean actor, and in one scene he's getting down on the ground and trying to talk to a cat. So it's pretty adorable. I'm going to continue my Universal Monster binge. Next week is when I see The Wolfman. So that's all I watched this week.
This week I
Brad, what did you watch this week? Sorry.
This week I watched Return of the Living Dead, and that has some cool special effects, makeup stuff. I also watched Accepted. Haven't seen that since the theater. Forgot like Jonah Hill and Blake Lively were in it.
I always forget Louis Black's in that movie until I rewatch it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. I also watched Pet Sematary.
First time?
First time. That's interesting.
I like watching it for Fred Gwynn.
The new trailer looks like the same movie. Child's Play. Haven't watched that for the first time in a long time. Didn't remember much of any of it. The Chucky doll effects are pretty good. But it goes from like quiet movie to blockbuster action movie
pretty quick.
Pretty quick with a couple stunts, and then the part where the cop is driving away and Chucky's in his backseat and like tries to stab him through the backseat. It's like, dude, just get out of the car. Like, hit the brakes, or if the brakes are cut, just roll out of the car.
It's interesting, in between those two motives, there's also a small segment where Andy's just going straight up through Hoboville and Junkie Land
yeah,
to get to his old house.
I also watched Hellfest, which is basically a really expensive commercial for a theme park that doesn't exist. Yep, pretty much these teenagers are going on these rides, and you watch them go on the rides and react to them, and then there's a slasher following the whole time.
Okay.
And then I watched Dead Like Me, which I haven't seen in a while because my sister stole my DVDs and lost them. And I missed that show, and I hope they do a high definition of that.
I've never seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's only 2 seasons.
That cover's pretty iconic with Death blowing bubblegum.
Yeah. Manny Patinkin's Rube is probably my favorite part of the show.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to watch this.
So, yeah. Well, it would be good for you because he died in the 20s, I guess. So, that's what I watched this week.
Cool. Do we have anything else?
I guess that brings us to our review of First Man. Zach, what did you think of First Man?
I loved it. It made me cry a lot more than I thought it would. And I think that's a symptom of James getting into my system, because he's gotten me like to appreciate NASA a lot more, and a lot of the stuff that he turned me on to ends up in this film somehow in an ancillary way or a big way. Gosling is great in this film. Gosling is great in this film. The film is superbly directed, beautifully shot. The music's amazing, and this is like one of the first space movies I've seen in a while that like drew out a sense of cinematic experience for me. That was like, you should see this in the theater, And if I have time this week, I'm going to make it a mission to see it in IMAX because I didn't have time this week, and I regretted it because we'll talk about it later. But the last 20 minutes I think you need to watch it in IMAX, just from watching it on its own merit. Like it seems like it can only be better. So yeah, I'd say go see it. Brad, should people go see First Man?
Before I tell you, I'm going to play this clip of Ryan sharing his thoughts on First Man.
Real nerds, real nerds, real nerds. It's the greatest host of a podcast ever, Ryan. Sorry I couldn't make the show this week. Sometimes work gets in the way. But I just wanted to say that everybody should go see First Man because it is awesome. Ryan Gosling's portrayal as Neil Armstrong is very, very good. I've read several stories where Neil Armstrong was kind of a reluctant hero, and Gosling plays that really well. The movie does a really great job of putting you in the cockpit of each of the space flights, whether it's Armstrong's first couple, and then also when they land on the moon. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that the movie's awesome. It gets you the claustrophobic aspect of being in space flight and the danger. Anyways, keep up the good work, boys. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Wow, cool take, bro. He was very brief.
That got really insensitive.
Yeah.
I don't like that he told all the astronauts to go burn in hell.
I think this movie's awesome. Going into it, I thought, hearing their views, that it was gonna be this cold, distant, movie that's not as impressive as La La Land. But I think if you want to feel the sheer terror of being an astronaut, this is the movie to see. Because there's long lulls of experiencing what it's like to be a person who has an experience that is very unique and hard to relate to. On top of that, we find out that his child. It's not a spoiler.
I guess not.
It's in the first part of the movie.
Yeah.
He can't let go of the death of a child early in his life.
Yeah.
It haunts him throughout the rest of what he does, and so you have that. You have him putting his life on the line constantly, him watching his friends die in these tests, and then trying to make this achievement that, people are trying to shut down around him. So he's trying to honor himself and his friends, his daughter, and it's in all along you're thrust into these claustrophobic, dangerous, you feel the danger, and it's just incredible, and I can't wait to watch it in IMAX. So
yeah,
here's the trailer for First Man.
I see the moon sees me. Down through the leaves of the old oak tree.
The vehicle's not safe.
We need to fail. We need to fail down here so we don't fail up there.
Please let the light that shines on me.
Neil, everyone's in agreement. We'd like you to command.
Shine on the one I love.
Mom, what's wrong?
Nothing, honey. Your dad's going to the moon.
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin.
We have a go for main engine start. T-minus 10.
The entire world's watching.
9. 8.
Do you question whether the program's worth the cost?
7.
In money and in lives?
6. 5.
What are the chances you're not coming back?
4.
Those kids, they don't have a father anymore.
3.
So you're gonna sit the boys down?
2.
And you're gonna prepare them for the fact you might not ever come home.
1.
Do you think you're coming back?
We have serious problems.
We've got this under control.
You're a bunch of boys. You don't have anything under control.
Please let the light that shines on me. Shine on the one I love.
Yeah, I don't understand the cold and distant reviews. What movie were they watching?
Well, I would admit the first 30 minutes were hard for me to get into because it's not a movie that says, like, okay, here's this point in time and, here's these people. Like, I didn't know who some of the characters were until an hour in because they don't just say, hey, what's up, Elliot? It's like, oh, Elliot died. Well, who was Elliot? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there wasn't a scene of everybody meeting each other. It's just, it takes you along
I guess that
in a very passive way.
I guess so, but I don't agree with that somehow. I could see that, but I don't know. Like, I think if anything, it draws you in, albeit on a very downer note, of his daughter dying of cancer, and him like which is the primary motivation for Neil Armstrong in the movie. I don't know if that's a real thing in the book. I'll have to read the book now, I guess. Like
cancer? What?
No. The like when we spoilers at the end, he takes a bracelet that had his daughter's name on it and tosses it into a moon crater.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
That's the thing I'm wondering. But
they also give Buzz Aldrin the rings from his wife. Like
right.
He says he's going to do that. So I'm like, I guess they probably did. It's conceivable that did happen. So
yeah. But anyway, though, when we get to the point, like what I love about it is that the fact that he has no way to really come to terms with this death in his life motivates him to go into the space program, which in theory seems like a bad idea because the whole movie should be called Ryan Gosling's Friends Die, because a lot of his friends die because it's the space program in the 60s. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, as I said, James's knowledge of NASA has seeped into me in a big bad way over the past year and a half. So a lot of these characters, I knew who they were, and unfortunately, I knew what was going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, thanks to James. Like when I hear Gus Grissom, I'm like, that guy's dead.
Yeah, he's going to die. Or
yeah.
Ed White.
I'm shocked that they should. Like, I didn't expect that in the movie.
Yeah, the Apollo one.
But it makes sense now that I watched it. Like, I guess that would be in there. But
yeah, well, I appreciate. Well, so you haven't seen From Earth to the Moon yet?
No.
The series he talks about constantly. Well, it's a great one. But the second episode is about that incident as a larger issue. What I liked about showing it was that inside you're seeing all this chaos happen like within the span of like 5 to 15 seconds, and then the outside it holds on this shot for about 10 seconds of the poof. Like it's not even like a huge explosion. It's a freaking it's just a pop in the door, and then it sits on it. And like Chazelle's really good at knowing when to cut away and when to hold on something, and he does it a lot throughout the rest of the film regarding the space travel. The Gemini going into the other unmanned
to dock with the Aegis or something.
With the Aegis, yeah.
The most terrifying scene I've seen all year.
Yeah, it's very, very nerve-wracking. Like, I mean, I thought the first 15 minutes were nerve-wracking with him, or the 10 minutes with him in the doing the atmosphere, going past the atmosphere.
Gyroscope.
Yeah, the gyroscoping. Yeah, I thought that was nerve-wracking because that's how it opens up and it kicks you right into the film. But that sequence with the Gemini is unnerving, erratically shot. It's nerve-wracking. And it's a great scene with Claire Foy, who plays his wife, telling him to turn on the radio, or to turn it back on. And we haven't talked about her yet. She's fucking incredible in this movie. The scene where she just gets right in Ryan Gosling's face is just like, you have to sit down with our boys and you have to tell them that there's a chance that you won't come back, like, because I'm done. Like, I was just like, that's fucking amazing. Like, that's just incredible performance. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think Ryan Gosling gives one of the best performances of his career in this film, but I think Claire Foy is going to steal the thunder come awards season. But in time, we're just going to realize that this is a tour de force from both of them. But and then, I mean, it's a beautifully shot film. Like, so it looks like, it kind of feels as if though it's of a period of like the early 70s to mid 70s or something like that. Like, it's got that texture on the film to it. Like the grain that they're using, like, I don't know what stock they use, but it feels aged. It feels like an older film. And the way they film space is interesting. There's a lot of black surrounding most shots. It makes it almost look like maybe they're using some miniatures rather than some CGI, which I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen any of
I think they're smartly disguising what could be revealed if you show all the detail. It's like, the monster in the movie. If you show all the details, the monster's less scary.
Right.
By having all that black and everything in so high contrast, you're hiding like the CGI.
Yeah,
and
you're
being exposed.
But you're also, as you said earlier, this is a film about how like batshit crazy this idea is.
Yeah, like I have to go explain this movie to my parents when I get home. I'm trying to say because they think it's a movie about the moon landing, and I'm like, it was everything I thought it would be. Is that this is a movie about Neil Armstrong and about being a guinea pig who has to survive getting sent up in a giant rocket full of fuel. And that's a great moment when he's at the press conference and Buzz Aldrin's like, well, I'm going to take my wife's rings. And Neil Armstrong's like, I would take more fuel. If I could take anything else.
Yeah, he's being practical about it. And he's not playing the game with the press, which...
But he has to survive the launch. And then he has to dock with this thing that's already been sitting in space. And, if that fails, he spins out of control and loses consciousness. But he has to dock with that. And then this lunar lander made of toothpicks and tinfoil has to. It's commonly portrayed as just dropping onto the moon. In this movie, they show it skidding in to the surface at 60 miles an hour.
Right,
and he has to compensate by blowing out those pressure cannons or whatever, and then stabilizing it, and all that is so nerve wracking.
It works. It's effective. It operates. It doesn't operate like a horror movie, but it operates like a thriller. The tension's high.
Yeah. It's not. It shows that it's not just this easy thing to do. It's not this. There's so much that can go wrong, and to celebrate it. I don't know, as this. Not try to get political here, but the movie being about him, it's he didn't buy into this is for America and stuff. It's if you watch the movie and understand the process of it's a miracle that a human can do this. It's so the whole controversy about not putting the flag on the moon,
that flag's all over that fucking movie. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's just not shown obviously being the stick in the ground. It's
but there's a shot of it stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
It's just from far away because
giant wide shot. It's right next to the lunar lander.
Yeah, I can see it. It's there.
There's a flag on the lunar lander, a sticker. It's on their uniforms. His son throws up a flag when he launches in the Gemini. It's that was the most bullshit stuff ever. But his philosophy is he doesn't buy into the nationalism of it. He's the government wants to shut down this program.
Oh yeah,
they don't want to do this. I have to keep convincing them to do it. So I don't care about putting I'm doing it because I have to, and it's there. I'm only there because I'm trying to exercise this demon that I'm carrying with me.
And there's this beautiful motif running through the film of the first time you see him, he's just a little bit above the earth that he can see the clouds. The second time when he goes up in Gemini, he's up enough that he can kind of see a bigger picture of it. By the time he gets to the moon, it's the whole fucking planet. And that kind of rule of three, kicking it, keeping that theme throughout the film. And he says a line about it about the further I get away from it, the clearer it seems to me. I think that's the line. I don't remember if it's exact, but that's just a beautiful through line throughout the film about and how it all ties back again to the death of his daughter and just his ability to cope with it and discuss it. And I think actually what's amazing is that the film does end on the strong note of when it's all said and done, it's about people who love each other and a man who loves his family. And then you have that shot of him in quarantine and she's on the other side and they're just communicating through the window. It's I don't want to get too hyperbolic about it, but it reminds me of the movie Arrival, where you have them communicating just through that barrier and that touch and stuff. And I'm it's kind of just like that. It's almost like Neil comes back a different person, but not really. You know what I mean? It's
no, they say in that movie of him being one of the few people who've broken through the atmosphere, looking back on the Earth. It's I'm one of 10 people that have that experience, and I don't know how to relate that to you, and it changes your idea of there's a bigger world out there, and it makes you feel so insignificant.
Yeah, and it's like I say, it's almost like it's like Claire Foy gets to talk to an alien now, and just the music in this film is fucking beautiful, and matched up with the imagery is amazing. The song that he plays with his wife when they're dancing, which by the way, Damien Chazelle can't not have dancing in his movies, guys. I don't know if you know this. No matter how subtle it is, the only thing I thought that would happen is Ryan Gosling was going to tap dance on that fucking moon, which would have been amazing.
Is there dancing in Whiplash?
There's music of some kind, I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's music.
I can't
in
remember.
most movies.
I can't remember in Whiplash, but going forward, he can have nothing but dancing in his movies, even in the subtlest way possible. The moment I saw Ryan Gosling putting on that record, I'm like, oh shit, musical sequence. But that song he plays for his
Someone
wife
should recut, like when it comes out. Take that scene, put the La La Land, Another Day in the Sun on.
But no, that actually the better scene for it is when they're playing music in the lander. They hands him that Buzz Aldrin that tape.
Yeah.
And puts it in, and that's when you could. I want to do that with any kind of song possible, like Wu-Tang Clan ain't none to fuck with. Like, guys, you hearing this down here? Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. But that song matched with the image of them bursting through going through the sky and toward the moon is just haunting. Like it's. Like, I love it. Like, the mood of certain movies about space can affect me in a deep way. Like, I mean, 2001 does it, but it doesn't always do it. Whereas this film, like, is one of those notes where I'm like, oh, you played a classical song over footage of people going to the moon. It's eerie, and it chills my spine, and I love it. And then the cues for the score, like, it's incidental music. Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, motivate the action. Like, it's there to support it, if anything else. It's Justin Hurwitz, the guy who did the stuff for La La Land, and going from such a broad score to something very intimate and small shows that he has great range. Yeah, I loved it, man. We got to find a way to go see it in IMAX and see if they still have those patches available for us to get. Yeah, I mean, the biggest regret of this episode, obviously, is that James is not here, because then we would have gotten like a 4-hour explanation on how amazing this film is from top to bottom from him. But I'm sure we'll hear him talk about it when he's back in town. So, yeah, First Man.
So next week we're seeing, not quite sure, because we're kind of debating between if we should push Halloween to Halloween and see Bad Times at the El Royale, or see Halloween and then Bad Times over Halloween. It's confusing.
Or we change it all up and see A Star Is Born 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, good luck convincing everyone to do that.
Y'all just don't like Lady Gaga. I don't get it.
There's more interesting stuff out for me.
Nothing's more interesting than Lady Gaga, except for space travel, apparently.
Also, more interesting things than a movie that's been remade 3 times. So,
excuse me, that's a tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Starry is born. I'm done.
I would have missed that week. I could have.
Yeah. All right. So, well, then until next week when we watch whatever the hell we decide upon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.